Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome again to my podcast, Snacks Thoughts. I say welcome again to my podcast, Snacks Thoughts. And what is my thought for the day? I was thinking about Joe Biden's plan to house 2.5 million immigrants, and he has some type of plan to make 11 million immigrants that I guess are illegal right now to make them or make them citizens of the United States. And as I've stated before, that I don't have a problem with allowing the immigrants to come. I mean, it'd be better if they came legally, but I understand from their perspective that the United States for them is a better situation and, provides opportunity for them and their families. So I understand that. So I have no problem with him helping out the immigrants, and he plans to house them, to get them from sleeping off of cold floors and stuff like that, and in shelters, police stations. I get it. House them, get them in the system, all of this stuff, and put them to work. And I feel personally that if these immigrants, whether they are illegal or legal, if they are willing to come into the United States and are, they are honest and hardworking and they're willing to put some sweat equity in and earn their keep, by all means, they are most welcome. But my thing is, I'm looking at the American economy, and I'm looking at all this homeless I see spreading in America, and I always said, take care of home, and I understand America has their foreign policy and they have their domestic policy, but if I were to call this video something, this podcast, it will be uploaded on my YouTube channel. I would name this episode, President Biden Has a Plan for Everyone Else But Americans. And I'll say it again, President Biden has a plan for everyone else but Americans. And why do I say that? Well, it's obviously what he's doing, foreign. Think about it. He's provided funds for Ukraine and President Zelensky. He's also providing foreign aid, him and Congress, for Israel. Okay, I get it. You know what I'm saying? I understand. I get it. We stand by Israel and we're supporting Ukraine. I get it. And I understand that Ukraine and Palestine, they're going to have refugees and they're seeking asylum. Hey, no problem. I understand, especially for the citizens. It's not their fault. But now you have all of these immigrants that are from Mexico and from all over the place, that are some are crossing the borders illegally, and they're flooding in to the United States, and so they're gonna need housing and labor, blah blah blah, etc. Need to be cared for, etc., etc., etc. So we're taking them in. I get it, saying I have no problem with that, but my thing is this: that everything has a cost for it. There's a cost for it, and who has to pay for this? Saying us, the U.S. taxpayers. And now what the problem that I have with Congress and with Biden is that how is it that you can take care of people that are not born and raised here, but you cannot take care of your own citizens that were born and raised and that are here? That's the problem that I have. With this economy, inflation going crazy and haywire, I just feel that if you can house every immigrant, then you ought to be able to house every homeless person, that is on these streets right now. What about Americans that can't afford to buy a home? What about those that can't afford the rising prices of rent? Groceries, gas, due to inflation. What about those? What about the business owners and the landlords that because you issued the executive order to make people stay at home and suspend rent payments, and so now you have squatters in these landlords' houses, and now they come to the court system or the American system for their money, and all of a sudden they can't get it. So now they have to sell their property or their credit goes bad. It's a domino effect. Business owners destroying the middle class. And so how I see it is that President Biden is like a father that he has one legal family where he married the wife and he had kids, with her, and that's his legal wife. And then he has a mistress on the side, and he has children by her, and he starts a family with her. And he he's not at home with his legal wife and with his family there, not taking care of them, but he's spending more time with his mistress and the kids that he's produced with her, and he's taking care of another household, but he's not taking care of his primary household with the woman that he married. That's how it seems, and this is a disclaimer. This is no offense to the immigrants that are coming. This has nothing to do with the immigrants that are coming in. This is no shade against them. It's a matter of our president, and our politicians, including Congress, doing right by its own citizens, as well as taking care of the immigrants. If you're going to take care of one, you take care of the other. There was a general rule that my mother and my parents always told me, that you don't play favoritism amongst kids. If you're going to buy for one, you buy equally for all. And that's how it seems that President Biden and Congress and these politicians are doing the U.S. citizens and those that are taxpayers. This is what, as Americans, why we pay our taxes into this capitalist system, so that when those of us that do need help, this system is supposed to be able to help us out. I'm not saying for us to, for those that need the help to be lazy and stuff like that, but there are people in this country that legitimately need help, and this country is failing them. They're failing them. They make it extremely difficult for those that are trying to get on their feet, to get the assistance that they need. But yet and still, they give it away and give a clear pathway for those that enter illegally. Or even if they do come legally, how is it that an immigrant can get more benefits than a citizen that was born here? How is it that an immigrant can get more benefits and get a clear pathway to success, which includes education, medical, dental, the whole nine, housing, jobs, than an American citizen, it seems like their pathway is blocked, or they have less room to breathe. And the president's telling Americans, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. How's that work? How's that work? So my thing is that, to the president, and I do have freedom of speech, and I'm not saying anything that any other person hasn't probably said or thought about. Why aren't you taking care of your citizens here? Like I said, I'm all for it. Take care of the immigrants. I don't have a problem with that. Take care of them. I have no problem with that, But if you're going to do it for them, make sure, that goes double for doing it for your citizens that are here. Because let me pose this to you. So will you make these illegal immigrants or immigrant citizens, and then will you treat them, once they become American citizens, will you put dirt on them like you've done your own citizens? Or are you going to continue to pave the way for them to their path for success and leave your own behind? That's where I'm coming from. And there are a lot of good, hardworking people here that have gotten the short end of the stick. And President Biden, Congress and these politicians have turned a blind eye to it. You know. Now, another thing that I also want to address is that with this failing economy, you have 7.2 million prime age men, that are out of the labor force. And I believe the age is from somewhere like 25 to 54 is what they consider prime age. But I'll go as far to say, I'll put it as far as say, let's say 25 to say, we'll push it to say maybe 65. We'll put it that way. But supposedly ages 25 to 54 are missing. 7.2 million of them are not in the labor force. And this is what I believe. Here's my take, okay, ladies and gentlemen. And just think about it from this perspective, okay? Number one, why would Biden be allowing so many immigrants in, allowing them to flood in? And why would he be wanting to, I guess if you want to say nationalize or make at least 11 million immigrants U.S. citizens so quickly? Here's what I believe it is. It boils down to capital, and it boils down to human capital and financial capital. If you have 7.2 million prime age working men missing from the labor force, if they're not working, that means that businesses are suffering, and that means that there's income and capital not being produced that the government can't tax. Then, to add to that, you have your local governments and municipalities, right? And you also need those 7.2 million men's economic spending power. Because every last one of those men, they have to eat. They're going to have dental. They have to have medical. They have to have a place to stay. All of this, there's a cost for all of this. And these men have to pay for that. And so another person's debt or spending is another person's income. You see what I'm saying? That's one angle of it. You know what I'm saying? Also, these men are not reproducing and having children. And they're not starting families. So that's another angle. I also believe with the immigrants, why President Biden is pushing and allowing them in as an influx like this. I believe a large part of it, like I said, boils down to financial capital and human capital. You need these immigrants, to work, so they can produce. You need their labor, but you also need them as a tax base to get taxes. You need their future spending power, and then also you need their votes. You see? And you need them to reproduce children so they can replace, the next generation that's going to pay into these systems, such as Social Security, FICA, Medicare, retirement pension funds. For everything, there's a cost. All of this is centered around money and human capital. You need human beings to keep the system going. So if you don't have enough people in your labor force, eventually those businesses are either going to have to outsource or they're going to fold. You see what I'm saying? So this is why I believe that it's a strategic plan. And the United States at this point, with this rate of inflation and with this economy, the way it's going, the United States is in big trouble. And they know it. Men and women are not getting married as much. Marriage is on a decline. And also, they're not reproducing children. The number that the United States need, I think we might need 2.1. I think we're down to 1.5 maybe. We're not reproducing replaceable numbers. So if you have millions of people dying, but you don't have the younger generation replenishing, or those that can reproduce, replenishing with offspring to replace the numbers of people that are dying, or at least doubling it, then eventually systems will collapse, your government will collapse, and eventually your country will collapse. You need people in order to have a government and to have a stable country. And you need viable working people and people that are producing income and children, and in other ways, to have a structure in a society. And the structure is beginning to collapse because men and women are not getting married and they're not producing enough offspring. And also, they're scaling back or pulling out of the labor force. And then you have a group of Americans that have they're starting to expatriate. It's already going on, where they have a backlog of passports, something like applications coming in as many as 500,000 a week. And so you have some people are pensioners, some are getting ready to take their businesses, or they're going digital nomad, they're pulling out. So even if they remain U.S. citizens and you can still get these expats tax dollars, the federal government can still tax them, but you're losing out on their spending power and the money that they would have put into the businesses here, and they're taking it elsewhere. So that is the reason why I believe that President Biden and Congress is so desperate to bring in these immigrants. I believe that. And also getting highly concerned about men missing from the labor force. And so I don't give it too much longer before they come up with some type of rule or something like that to try to if they can, to try to somewhat fence productive Americans in this country to keep them from leaving, because that's way too much wealth. And I'm gonna close with this, but think about it, guys. Okay, if you got 7.2 million men missing from the labor force, all right, let's assume that they're playing video games at Netflix. Let's just assume that, say, a Netflix bill costs $10. Just say 10. We know it costs more than that. I believe it's more than that. But let's say it just costs $10 a month for a Netflix bill. Let's assume that, say, 7.2 million of them have Netflix account, and they spend $10 a month. Every month, that would equate to, I believe, $720 million a month. Then when you add that up over a year's time, in 10 months, that'd be 7.2 billion. It should be something like, I think, it'll probably add up to like maybe probably 9 billion a year. And that's just at the rate of $10 a month. Now, multiply that by at least probably anywhere from the mid three figures if they were working and paying taxes, or some would be four figures in in taxes. But think about that every month, what those men, if they're working, what they would pay in taxes. They're going to pay at least probably $1,000 a month, or at least $500 a month in taxes, Social Security, at least, or a couple of $100 a month, 3 digits, at least. So this is a money game, and you need that human capital. And we haven't talked about some of the women that have left, but men, I definitely believe, is even more crucial, because men don't have babies, so they don't take paternity leave, or maternity leave. Men normally tend to be more workhorses, and they take less time off of work. So that's 72 million men. And if you multiply that by whatever, say 8 hours a day or whatever like that, I don't know, you're missing a lot of man hours. You see what I'm saying? So you need their productivity. You also need their reproduction activity. You need their reproductivity. You see what I'm saying? So it all boils down to dollars and cents and human capital with these immigrants, be they legal or illegal, and also the labor force. But that's my take on it, and how I see it. Politicians never do anything solely of goodwill or of the goodness of their heart. There's always an angle for it. But anyway, that's my take, guys. But again, President Biden has a plan for everyone else but Americans. So here we go again, guys. But that's all I have on this episode. And the name of this podcast is Snacks Thoughts. That's SNAKZTHOUGHTS. And you can find this podcast on platforms such as iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spotify, Spreaker, Acast, SoundCloud, Radio PBM, Google Podcast, Apple Podcasts, and a host of other social media outlets. I will also upload this episode to my YouTube channel, Eric Brothers YouTube. And that's EricBroadus YouTube, or ericbroadusyouTube.com. And on my YouTube channel, I do military content, philosophical topics, some fitness, nutrition, and just a host of other topics to include political as well. So please subscribe to Snacks Thoughts and subscribe to Eric Broadus YouTube. Share both and push them out. Would love to have you. And please, when you go to my YouTube channel, leave a comment. And leave a comment on this podcast too. Smash that bell to become a subscriber on my YouTube channel and hit the like button if you like the videos and content. And if you don't like it, hit the unlike button. Either way, leave a comment. I would love to dialogue with you and would love to hear from you. And leave a comment on Snacks Thoughts as well. You know, I'd love to have the conversation. Tell me what you think. President Biden can take care of everyone else, but he can tell Americans that are going through hardship, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Go figure. Anyway, guys, that's all I have on this one. Push it out. Share Snacks Thoughts, Eric Broadus YouTube with friends, family, frenemies, enemies, rats, bats, goats, cats, dogs, everyone. Share it. All right. Peace out, guys. Later.